Uh-huh. 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 Peanut butter and jelly. Saturday morning. Sitting down. Unleash this book reviews. I got a book review for you today. Ian Fleming's 007 Casino Royale. James Bond. Doesn't get much more manlier. Short read. About, I think it was 187 pages long, but it's not big text. What it really reminded me of, it would be like when it was released in 1954, what you would find in your local grocery store sitting on the book rack. That stuff that you kind of scoff at and you're like, I'm too good for that, I'm not going to be that guy buying a book from the grocery store. But over time, I think its literary finesse kind of showed itself until it reached the point of now being found in the literary section of your bookstore. But I still don't know if I would call this book literary. It's very plot driven. I think they say the difference between literary fiction and commercial fiction is commercial fiction has extraordinary people in ordinary circles. I don't freaking know that anymore. It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, this is an extraordinary man in an extraordinary situation, and it's very plot driven, and that's okay to me. I don't care if the thing is driven by plot if it's good, and this was good. I wanted to keep reading this book. Unlike, I think, any book that I started reading since I started doing these book reviews. Not that I didn't enjoy the past books that I've been reading, but Ian Fleming, in his James Bond series, at least in his first one, has a knack for keeping you on to come back, keeping you enthralled in the story. I think of sort of like 1954's version of Dan Brown, but a little bit better as far as prose go. I don't think he's as cheap of a writer, if that makes sense, as Dan Brown, but he's just as gripping. Story is your classic James Bond story. If you've seen Casino Royale, the movie, I haven't, but I'm assuming it's pretty similar. James Bond has to go and try and take care of a foreign enemy, but not through the normal way of killing them or something like that. Instead, his goal is to meet him at the casino where the enemy is trying to make money because he lost a lot and he's afraid he's going to get assassinated by his own crew if he doesn't get that money back. So James Bond's role is to go to this casino and beat him so that he has no money and his own men end up killing him. Tricky. Of course, there's a beautiful woman who gets her head in too deep, and James Bond has to try and save her, and there is a twist at the end, and it is fun. Only gripe I really have with this story is I think the last 50 pages really dragged out. The first 125-ish, it was like an amusement park. Every chapter was something new and fun to try out, but the last 50 pages is sort of like, you know, when it starts to get to be maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night at said amusement park and your feet are killing you and the kids are screaming, we just want to go on this one last ride, and you don't really want to because you've gone on it 50 times before and it's not really even that fun, so you kind of stuck in the theme park even though all day long you had a great time. Now you just kind of want to leave and it's dragging out. Pretty crappy comparison, but that's kind of what I felt here. I am going to recommend it. I think it was fun. If you skim over the last 40-50 pages by just kind of reading the first and last sentence of every paragraph, I don't think you're really missing much, and you would have the enjoyment of the first 3/4 of the story. So, Ian Fleming, James Brown. James Brown. James Bond. Remember guys, if you really like what I'm doing here and you know, you support me and all that, I'm not asking for money, but your thumbs up and your favoriting and stuff, all that shows up on all your friends' feeds on YouTube. So it really does help to spread the word, even more so than probably vocally spreading the word. So if you could do that, you know, I really owe you one, and I'd be really appreciative. I already am appreciative of your views, so thanks for just tuning in. Alright? Thanks, guys. I love you, and take care of yourself. I'll see you next week. Oh, and tomorrow I'm going to release a separate video letting you know what book I'm reading for this week, alright? It's nothing you guys recommended, but I think you're going to like it, and you might want to read along. See ya.